Hi, my name is Leo and this is my pitch for my final major project at college. So my idea is to make a documentary about witchcraft and magic and where it came from, how it's developed, why it disappeared, why it's now coming back, and interviewing different witches and people who practice magic to see how they feel about this new surge of Wicca. So I will be submitting it to the Estetica Short Film Festival because they work together with the BAFTAs, and I think that that's a really, really good opportunity for someone like me to be exposed to something as high and well respected as that is. I'd be entering it into the documentary under 30 minutes, which is £24, if I get it in before the 21st of May, which I'm not sure if I'll be able to get it in by then, but I hope I do. So I started off with 3 different ideas. They were all related to magic and witchcraft. My first one was my documentary, which is the one that I was most passionate about. I had most of the details and like the structure. My second idea was a short film, like a fictional short film about a young witch, and a stop motion animation on how to do certain rituals and stuff like that. Obviously the one that got the most votes was a documentary because I think people could tell that that was the one that I wanted to make with, you know, the more enthusiasm in my description of it than the rest of them. So when I was doing my topic research, I researched things like what is magic, where did it come from, and who are the important people involved. And I found out a lot of stuff that I actually didn't know, and I thought I knew, it all, but I really didn't. That there's a guy called Gerald Gardner who started off what we know as modern Wicca now, but a lot of people don't agree with his stuff, and there's loads of different branches of Wicca that people follow, and they don't all agree with each other, which is interesting. I didn't know that before. So it's something that I'm going to be asking my interviewees and which branch they follow, if they do, and why they disagree or agree with certain things. With my target audience research, this is really interesting actually. When I did the age group question, the most votes went to 16 to 25, which is not the target audience that I actually wanted. I wanted a slightly older target audience, but the second most voted for was the 26 to 34, which is what I was going for. So I've decided to just bring them both together and go 16 to 35, so I can reach a wider audience of people. And yeah. And when I asked about gender, the men and women category was voted for a lot, and the just women one, but the one of just men didn't, which I thought was quite interesting, and it's kind of like pushed me to think about how I can make it appeal more to men if people don't think that it already would, because I don't want to be limited to just women. I want everyone to be able to enjoy my documentary. When I was researching codes of conventions, I looked at all the different modes of documentaries, and I picked out the top 3 that I thought fitted my documentary the best. So reflexive, participatory, and expository. The one that got the most votes was reflexive, but I feel like I didn't ask the questions properly when I sent out my survey, and I feel like participatory actually fits more, but I'm still going to bring in reflexive parts into my documentary so that I can still follow the survey response that I got. When I was analysing different documentaries, I found 3 that were about witchcraft, and the first one I thought was really interesting because it's literally just footage of this ritual. There's no voiceover, there's no like presenter, there's no one speaking, it's literally just footage, and it's really interesting to see like how you can interpret it yourself, and I really like the grittiness of the footage. I thought that was something I want to bring into mine. The second one that I analysed was quite similar to mine actually. It was, but it was less, the person who made the film was less involved. I want to be a lot more involved in my documentary. I want to be in front of the camera speaking to people, whereas more of a voiceover type thing in this one. But I did like the way that they conducted interviews. They kind of put sections of the interview answers on top of footage of the interviewees doing stuff that they would do in rituals. The last one was sort of a bit odd. It was two people sitting in front of a camera in their living room explaining what paganism is, and there's no interviews, it's just literally like a school lesson really on camera, which I think I just appreciate the way that they very clearly explain things, and it's, you know, they said things in a way that is very easy to understand for everyone, which is something that I want to incorporate into my documentary. So the narrative structure of my documentary will start off with exploring the past, where witchcraft came from, different countries, different variations of what witchcraft is, and how it's developed. And then I will go on to interviewing witches that I know, people from my family, people that I'm friends with, and yeah. And then at the final section will be asking where is this going, what's the future of witchcraft, and yeah. The locations that I want to use, I really want to go to the Hellfire Caves because I've heard that there were a lot of sacrifices and stuff done there, and it's filled with these sort of faces carved into the walls, and it looks really cool, and I feel like it would get a lot of really cool B-roll footage from there. The Museum of Witchcraft and Magic in Cornwall is somewhere that I really want to go because they have huge expositions of like different things that come from different places of the world that have to do with witchcraft, and I think I could get some good B-roll footage there as well. And the New Forest is said to have been inhabited by witches in the past, and it's filled with oak trees, which are very important to the witchcraft community. So I think that I'd be able to get some, you know, really, again, nice footage from there. That's it. Yeah. Any questions? Yeah.
Okay, I have a few. Okay. You talk about the fact that you're about to do a documentary, but what skills have you learned over the past year and a half that has made you think that you are good at making documentaries?
I think that my editing skills are my strong point, and I feel like a lot of documentaries are quite boringly edited, and I feel like I can bring in my editing skills to make something interesting to look at as well as educational, and
Okay, so how are you going to know that you're on track to doing something good? How are you going to evaluate yourself every step of the way?
I've been doing weekly vlogs and asking teachers for feedback, as well as some of my friends, and also asking people in the witchcraft community what they think of my ideas and whether they think that it's representing fairly the community.
Okay, how you talk about the fact that you're doing a participatory documentary. What does that entail? What is it you're going to be doing to make it that?
So I'll be including my own experience as someone who practices witchcraft, as well, like being in front of the camera, having conversations with people rather than an interview, and just be really involved in the actual film product itself rather than just the filming and the editing.
Okay, one more question. You've looked into a lot of films and documentaries on witchcraft, but you talk about family members being part of this community. Have you actually interviewed them with regards to primary research?
I haven't, no. I should do that, which is a really good idea. I hadn't thought of it before.
Okay. Does anybody else have any questions?